Hey guys, my name is Michael and welcome back to the channel. As some of you know, and the rest of you can probably guess, my motto and the general theme of this channel is stay gold. I've done a video on what stay gold means, so definitely go check that one out once this video is finished, but for the sake of this video, the basic definition means be the best person you can be. Now, for those of you who haven't been following me for a while, life has really tested my positivity lately, especially in this past year. My dad was in a car accident and subsequently got brain surgery to get rid of a brain tumor that he had. All seems to be good on that front, I think, but most recently my mother lost her battle with cancer just this past August. So I can go into detail about how fucked up my emotions are right now, but as you can imagine, staying gold isn't exactly easy. Because I don't feel like what I've built my whole channel around, it's been very hard for me to want to post anything, because I feel like I'm just faking it at that point. But in the tradition of being positive, and at this point desperately reaching for silver linings, I've had a lot of time to reflect and look at the world around me without a camera lens in between. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when did we become so offended by everything? We've become so inherently defensive that even when someone super cool does or says something slightly wrong, we turn on them. I'm talking like attempt to destroy careers, death threats, like what? Now let's be clear, I'm not talking about someone with a long recorded history of racist rants, tweeting out something stupid, and subsequently losing their #1 TV show.
I thought the bitch was white! God damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
Sure. I am talking about the decent people. Now I'm pulling the story from something that happened to me a few weeks ago. So there is this heterosexual male who is open about supporting the gay community, but then comes out and tells me, I don't understand transgendered people, and due to the information that I have, I believe it must be a mental illness. Immediately you want to punch that person in the face and yell at him, right? And trust me, there were a lot of people around us yelling, but I don't think that's how the situation should be handled. For one, we got into a deep conversation and discussion, and after a while, he felt open and honest enough with me to tell me this, and he was open and willing to talk about it. Two, by actually talking to this guy and getting to know him, I found out that he was from small town Ontario, knew maybe a handful of gays, myself now included, and that was it. He had no other exposure to the community other than what he saw in the media and some facts that he read on the issue. His argument was that due to some facts that he'd heard about high suicide rates and such, like, there must be some sort of mental imbalance leading to mental illness. I told him, I'm a boy, I love being a boy, I have no idea what it's like to be transgendered, but I do know what it's like to be gay, and terrified that your parents won't love you once they find out. He told me he was a complete and total mama's boy, so I just asked him to imagine if he was transgendered and his mother came to him and said, I do not like this, you are not my child anymore. Like, how would you feel? Like, nowhere to turn to, feeling like no one loves you. Again, I am only speaking hypothetically because I am not transgendered. I don't exactly know what it's like, but I am pulling from stories that I've heard from either friends of mine or people that I've heard in the media about being disowned by their families, kicked out, so I can only imagine and sympathize. My point is, he had never thought about it from that perspective before. Next, I asked where he got his facts from. Was his source an actual transgendered person, or was it an article written by a cisgendered heterosexual? He said he wasn't sure, so I just asked him to maybe seek out someone who is transgendered and get their side of the story. The whole point of my interaction with him was not to attack or attempt to radically change his viewpoint, it was to simply educate. He had a certain perspective, albeit limited, But you have to respect that, and you have to be willing to offer another one. And that's kind of my whole point here. We're so quick to be defensive and attack ignorant views we don't agree with, but ignorance is not a bad thing. The literal definition of ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information. Think about how you react when someone just runs up to you and starts yelling in your face. Are you even listening to what they're saying, or are you just puffing up your chest ready to defend yourself? There is no way I'm ever gonna open up and listen to your discussion. I'm never gonna listen to you. Stop yelling in my face. Stop it. Stop. Stop. You don't have to necessarily be positive about it. You don't have to like what they're saying. You just need to listen and understand that it may be a different perspective and be willing to educate. I implore you, the next time someone says or posts something that you don't agree with, take a minute. If you're still so offended that you have to post something hateful, take the time and try to educate them instead. If they're educated and decide to continue being an asshole, then they're a bigot. Bigotry is the real enemy here, my friends. At that point, hands up, Jesus take the wheel. Don't forget to stop, drop, and roll when your career goes up in flames.
Fuck!
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hit that like button and subscribe. I will see you next time, and don't forget, stay gold.